generation. Equip us now for the work ahead as we follow you. This is your house. Oh, this is your house.
Smooth skin.
What are you reading?
All the S words in the Bible.
All the S words in the Bible.
Snail.
Beautiful concordance.
Snare.
Snail.
Snatched.
Snare,
Sniffed.
songs,
Snorting.
shuffles. The Cupid shuffles.
Soap.
Wow.
Soda.
Soda's in the Bible? What are you talking about?
And like vinegar on soda. Proverbs 25:20.
What's up, podcast listeners? Welcome to the House Podcast. Bet you didn't know that. Soda is apparently listed in the book of Proverbs. Solomon's wisdom extended way beyond his time. A man out of time, as they say. We're excited that you're just now joining us. Hey, sorry we didn't get an episode up last week. I got sick, and Ethan's fiance, Woot Woot, was sick, and there was just all kinds of stuff going on here up at the church. So praise the Lord, we're all on the up and up. We are back on the pod. This is episode 18.
Man.
That's crazy. Almost to 20. That's going to be dope when we hit that
wild.
threshold. Yeah, once we hit episode, 26, we've technically hit like half a year, because it'd be like once a week, 52 weeks. So half of that would be like 26 weeks, right? So once we hit episode 27, we're still a few weeks out from that, but
that's wild.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a minute now.
This goes way back though, because I remember back in the day, there was a long time.
Bro.
You had this idea for this podcast called Fostering Joy.
Oh, I did.
You remember that back in the day?
Did.
So we've been wanting to do something like this for a long time now. Mm-hmm. This is awesome.
Yeah,
it's been a long time coming.
Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in once again. I'm your host, Caleb. This is the co-host, Chiefy. We, on this podcast, do a quick check-in with each other. It's for our emotional health as much as it's for our couple of listeners. But also a great way to address some key topics and ideas that we don't necessarily cover here on a weekly basis as we move through books of the Bible. Today's episode, we are going to be looking at the idea, the concept, the entity of artificial intelligence, AI, which is a very popular idea during the current culture and time period in which we're living. We're seeing it progressively getting more and more ingrained within aspects of our society. If you've got the newest iPhone update, it's like full of stuff like that in your email text messages. You can do AI summaries now of your text messages. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, your text messages?
Yeah, like a group chat. Wild. You can turn on, if it's like an all iPhone group chat, like a AI summary thing that will actually summarize all of the group messages that you missed. So, like, if you, went to sleep, muted the group chat, wake up the next morning, you got 57 text messages, you can say, summarize that for me.
Gary said goodnight 14 times.
Right.
Gene
said. It'll give you more like a Gary's a weirdo. Don't know why he says goodnight so much. There's, some personality to it. No,
my phone has a little option. Mm-hmm. It's like a little AI. It's like I'm texting another person, but I can text AI.
Oh, wow.
And it says, you can ask me to, help you text other people and write emails or text messages,
like a sophisticated Siri kind of thing.
Yeah, it'll help you. I'll say hey, write a text message telling this person sorry, I just can't make a good excuse or something. It's this huge thing.
Right. Wow. That's pretty new.
It's wild.
So point being, it's
I used becoming
it more
yesterday.
And more. Huh? Oh yeah, that's why I got that weird.
That's why I couldn't make it.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
So it's becoming more and more of an everyday part of our society, and we want to look more specifically at kind of what's a biblical perspective on it. There's some controversy and some confusion out there, and I think within our faith perspective, it's really not that controversial, but I think worth acknowledging and maybe unpacking some of the nuance, some of the gray that's in there. For those who might be curious, especially as it becomes increasingly part of our everyday lives. But before that, Chiefy, anything going on this week? Anything you're looking forward to? Just a quick check-in for you as well. Any praise reports? Any prayer requests?
God has been so faithful all along the way, man. His mercy is new every morning. I think there's a few different things me and Angie have recently experienced that have been such a huge blessing from the Lord. Nice. We just secured a venue for our wedding. Yeah, God is so gracious because we wanted to get married in October. And that's a really busy month to get married. And in our price point, too, it was just how, like, it was God that just opened up an amazing opportunity in the exact place that we wanted it to at the right time. And it's just really, it's really beautiful to see his hand so heavy in an area and very humbling because, you know, you don't deserve it. Right. So, yeah, we've been super blessed by that and just the little different aspects about, you know, getting married. That's a huge blessing. Getting the photographer and him being an awesome Christian. And just little bits and pieces of God's, you know, just blessing in different areas that's just filling my cup so beautifully. And I think the richest thing in my life right now is just God reminding me of just the fullness of simply abiding. And I know that's something that we say a lot, but the more that you do abide and the more that I am like spending time setting aside time to abide, I feel like more richly he's filling my cup in my relationship with him. He's reminding me that I love the people around me. I adore the people around me, my friends, my family. But he says, like, I am the only person that you're going to have like this forever. And so pour into me like that. And so I've just been kind of blessed by that idea and really trying to make that like a bigger priority, you know, that time apart in prayer and reading his word. And, man, I've just been filled with a renewed vigor, a renewed zeal to seek him, you know. So I've been blessed. What about you, though? How you doing?
Doing good, man. I hit a big milestone yesterday. I finally finished a paper that was kind of the capstone of my last real class for my MDiv. So all I have left is an internship, and I have technically a week off spring break.
Bro, that's huge.
Before,
goodness.
next week I'll start like my final internship with school, and I mean potentially forever. Like this is the kind of the last class of my degree.
That's so wild. I remember when you started school.
Dude, 3 years ago.
It doesn't feel that long ago.
It doesn't, but
that was so cool. That is so cool.
Yeah, so I'm stoked on that. Got to take my kids to Disney last week, right after being super sick. So that was super fun, but also just a lot. So getting back to work after being sick, after taking that mini vacation, and then also having the time change has not been the most normal of weeks. But ready today. I'd love to think that today is more of like a normal day, but after I get off work from here, I've got to drive all the way out to West Palm Beach because I have a Navy physical tomorrow morning.
Oh my goodness! Are you spending the night over there?
I am. So I'm driving out tonight, spending the night at West Palm, and then got to drive all the way back tomorrow. So I'll be in a little bit late tomorrow at work.
Oh my goodness! You gonna go right from there straight to work?
Yeah, drive straight in. West Palm's like 3.5 hours away, so if I'm gonna get any work done before service tomorrow, I'm gonna drive straight in. But then after that, it's pretty much normal until everybody leaves for Uganda, and then it gets weird again. But even still, while people will be gone, that'll be more of a normal weekly regimen, just kind of studying the Bible. In some ways, funny enough, I think it will be
more
chill.
Yeah.
Because even though I have that responsibility, exactly. Like I'm mostly covering Wednesdays. We'll have guest speakers on Sundays, and we're not doing any major events. Like that's huge, right? Nothing extracurricular.
Yeah.
So as much as there will be maybe a different kind of pressure, like I think it's going to be a chiller couple of weeks than it's been.
I think so too.
So I'm optimistic about that. Yeah. So
don't tell anybody that we might plan another like VBS dancer.
Exactly.
Or like a camp or something that might happen if we do.
Doing church-wide problem solving. Everybody bring all your issues, and Ethan will walk you through the best solution. No, I'm just kidding. So, All right, sweet. Well, with that, let's go ahead and transition into the concept of AI. So once again, AI, artificial intelligence. I'm going to give you like an operational definition real quick before we kind of hop into, just so that we all kind of understand what we're talking about.
Caleb wrote a 5-page paper just for this. Actually, 11 pages, sorry.
Yeah, I did. This is for school, a topic I was assigned to actually write on, and did. I don't know. I'm going to milk it for everything it's worth. So here we are on the podcast talking about it. Yeah, milking AI. Ew. So AI is a digital tool developed by human beings with the intent to replicate human thought and nature and its provision of various forms of media output using quicker and more efficient processes to collect and communicate information than other means. So in short, it's a computer thing that is currently being used to produce media output, right? So whether that's content, that's information, that's graphics, that's, some sort of media output that it very quickly and efficiently synthesizes, processes, and puts out.
Now I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, when you think of like artificial intelligence, you think of like, I don't know, a computer being able to accomplish a task by itself, right?
Sure.
Well, I'm confused because I feel like that's been around for a long time.
Right. And that's, so there's a difference, and I don't want to speak like I'm an expert on this, but in light of having like done a fair amount of reading on this, there is differences between like algorithms and search engines and like a lot of like recent conventional, well, we call them conventional now because there's other breakthroughs that are happening, but these are different entities than artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is almost like the culmination of the former. Being put together into something that is capable of operating with its own level of like control is the way people try to market it, right?
Okay.
So like,
got it.
Like an algorithm is something AI would use.
Yes.
Versus AI is an algorithm.
Okay,
right?
got you. So it's almost like a user. It's a user in and of itself.
And it's intentionally being designed to possess and operate with like human like tendencies, right? So like AIs tend to have a name of some Siri, ChatGPT, Google Help, like stuff like that. And not only are they like referred to in that fashion, like they're designed to like function within the scope of their own self. I know that's kind of a weird way of like putting it, but like if you think of like a computer using a search engine, like someone has to like initiate that sequence of commands.
Sure.
Versus like AI has its own processing procedures that launch at the engagement and interaction of human beings.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
It's still, you're right, like I would argue a former version of what has all been around for a while.
Sure.
But it does so and is intentionally designed to do so in a way that more replicates the thought and processing of human beings. And with that, the way we interact with it, the way we engage it and even discuss it or play with it, we treat it more like it's a human being, right? So ChatGPT is like the case in point. Like there are apps, there are like means of accessing it through a search engine, but the way it actually processes information and synthesizes it is intended to be more human-like, right? In nature. And that's without getting like super nerdy into like the types of content and the types of like command sequences and processes that it uses to bring these things about. That's the best way that I feel like I know how to articulate
That's
it.
amazing.
Right?
Wow.
It is very cool.
Okay.
And I think it is that intentionally like human element that makes
So
people
attractive.
Yeah, and also makes it controversial, right?
Okay.
Because people don't know how to take it now because of how unique the entity itself kind of is. So,
Okay.
like, if I can hop now, just using that as kind of a segue into like dangers, concerns, challenges, right? Like, there's the obvious, like, we've been watching too many movies approach to this that's like, oh my gosh. Right, it's going to build its own body and it's going to take over the whole world. Everything from like, you know, Ultron within the Marvel movies to like, dude, there was this like early 90s Disney film called something House, not Monster House or like something like that, but basically like it was like an AI house, right? This house was like built with this like computer brain kind of thing, and it literally like made this like
sounds vaguely familiar.
lady butler that like went crazy, locked the kids down, like one of those movies that would come in like after midnight during like the Halloween season on Disney Channel that like you'd wake up at 2 a.m. and be like, what is on my TV? Some of y'all real OGs out there probably remember it. Angie probably would. I feel like that was more like my late childhood, her like middle school era probably thing. But anyways, so like that's obviously like a huge concern is like, oh man, we've developed a computer system or digital software that has become self-aware to a point where it could actually like overthrow us, take over the world, that kind of thing. Even beyond that, like there's the idea of like it's just replacing jobs for a lot of like mundane tasks and things like that. So there's some fear and controversy there. There's I would say in like theological circles and at the biblical level, like there's confusion as to like exactly what is this thing. Should we treat it more like a computer or a device, or is this a consciousness that we like interact with, you know, that kind of a thing? And if it is more of a consciousness, because that's where those like thick in the weeds on the technological side argue the sophistication of the program, and particularly its ability to reason and make decisions, make it distinct from like a common algorithm or, you know, things like that, right? More than just a search engine in the hands, it's got its own awareness.
Sure. So like speaking specifically, what do you mean by like dangers biblically and spiritually?
Yeah, so I think like a danger at like the spiritual level, or maybe like I guess part of like what I mean by like a biblical perspective is like, should we use and or embrace this technology if it is its own like
we as Christians,
right? Sure. Additional consciousness, like are we moving into kind of a moral Jurassic Park conundrum of like, just because we can do something, does that mean we should? Is this a tool to be used in kind of fulfilling the dominion mandate of Genesis 1, where we're told to subdue and have dominion over the world? And is this a tool that we can help in that like rule, so to speak, as Christians?
Sure.
Or is this like almost like something to be paralleled with like a demonic entity, or like, you know, like something that we should steer clear of because we don't know the scope of its power and you know,
or even
influence,
possibly being like a new life kind of situation.
Right. Like I listened to one guy who joked like, man, he's kind of a country guy, he's like, with all this AI stuff, I've invested in some silver titanium piercing rounds, you know, for in the event that, like, you know, he joked like an AI dog comes running up on his property or something, you know, like literally like the conspiracy theorist level, like, dude, this thing could become so self-aware that makes its own like body, you know, its own like robot kind of thing. And that's where I say like once again, how as Christians should we feel about it? I think beyond obviously that like kind of far-reaching perspective, more like the day-to-day stuff. Should we use it? Should we not? What should we use it for? Are there limitations biblically? And what this should be used for as we assess kind of like what it really is, you know. And then in tandem with that too, there's other challenges that like are facing society with it. The technology is advancing faster than our world is prepared to regulate, right? So that raises concerns on things like the burden of responsibility as AI might be used to make decisions that have broader reaching consequences. Like we've talked a little bit about AI being used in Tesla vehicles for self-driving automation. That program is wired, that AI is created to preserve and protect the driver. So if it's between running the driver off of a cliff or running him into this family on the side of the road, the AI is probably going to run this family over on the side of the road as opposed to take the driver off of a cliff. And that's where, like, there are some who argue it's self-preservation of the AI itself. Like, it doesn't want the Tesla vehicle going off the side of the road. It's going to preserve itself. It's more complicated than that, but at the same time, like, who's going to be responsible for that decision? You know, is it the user? Is it the creator? Is it the entity in and of itself? So, you know, these are all questions. The accuracy of the material. I read this one article that talked about how AI was being used by Google to just promote restaurant recommendations, right? And it's like, oh, okay, like that's pretty harmless. But understand that bias and that monetization motivation goes into how AI is processing and synthesizing information and making decisions. And what it started doing was going to Reddit using Google's algorithms, and it was pulling people's opinions from Reddit on what are the best restaurants, right? And that worked until it misunderstood and got on a Reddit thread where people were trolling, using sarcasm, putting the worst restaurants in town and giving them like 5-star glowing reviews, but AI didn't pick up on the sarcasm. So it started recommending all of these terrible restaurants in town. And all these people are they're like, what in the world? Like, it had this Google AI 5-star review, and it's like, no, Google's AI just messed up and didn't understand sarcasm because it's this human emotion, you know? And so this is where I say, like, it's a deep rabbit trail that you find yourself in. It's becoming more ingrained within society. Wow. But what about the accuracy of the information? Yeah. What about the motivation behind the algorithms that are being programmed, the biases being programmed into the AI, and how it reasons and makes decisions? You know, these are all variables and factors that have to be considered.
Yeah, for sure. That's a fascinating side. I think AI is just really interesting because we've never seen anything like it before. Mm-hmm. I think society in general has kind of like toyed with the idea of AI or artificial intelligence, more like AI or more like sentience from like a robotic or computer perspective. Mm-hmm. And I think we've often toyed with that idea. We thought that's interesting, and this is the closest we've gotten to a artificial sentience kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I think it's very interesting and intriguing to society, and then also very useful as it's able to grow itself, manipulate its environment, and do it also very quickly depending on how much resources that you do give it. And I think companies are all jumping on board with this because it is such an interesting tool. Yeah. I have a question that I think some people might have, but they're not like willing to ask. Okay. Do you think it is self-aware or sentient at all?
Yeah. And it's coming from someone who doesn't create or develop it. I'll ground this answer purely in like what I think is biblically just true, right? As far as I understand, no, because it doesn't have a real consciousness. It doesn't have a real soul. It is a computer program, really sophisticated and intentionally designed to replicate human emotion, but at the same time it's still a replication, and it's an image of its creator, right? And so I don't think that like we are capable of creating an entity that is truly self-aware, because it would be producing a consciousness from nothing, which is something that I don't think we as human beings are actually able to do. I think we can create something that gives that appearance and or even like within itself thinks it has produced its own level of awareness, but at the
Sure.
same time, particularly AI, like it's not going to truly develop like new information, right?
Okay.
It might create apparently new information or media output as it blends and pulls from many a
Resources.
different source, and arguably like that's what we as human beings do. Like there are some who joke, I heard this, I don't even know if this is fact, this might even be fiction, but like apparently we can't like create a face we've never seen. We're just like pulling features from things that we're not capable of that level of imagination. If that's actually true, like I think AI on principle could be like the same type of thing. Like we're capable of putting a plethora in, and it can blend those into a greater level of combinations than we could ever like personally process, because we'd
Sure.
be bound by time in a way that it as an
A fast computer.
right is not. And because of that, it's seemingly new information or seemingly new media, right? The images
Sure.
it creates or the music, tones, things like that. But at the end of the day, like we still operate, maybe here's the best answer, within a finite universe. I think human beings are derived from an infinite God. Thus, we are a new creation in and of ourselves,
Okay.
but bound to finite reality. Thus, anything we produce is equally finite versus the things that God does are not. And that's where back to the idea of
Sure.
like self-awareness. Like I think it can only be as self-aware as it's told it is. you know?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
or told it can be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And maybe that's a naive thought grounded less in an understanding of AI and more in biblical optimism,
Sure,
based off of my
sure.
understanding. But it doesn't
Yeah.
have a soul. It doesn't have. It's not a bearer of the image of God
Sure.
the way that we as human beings, designed as the epitome of creation, are
Yeah.
described within the book of Genesis.
Yeah, if you type in AI or ChatGPT, what are you? Are you self-aware? It might, I don't know. We could test this, but it might tell you, oh, I am ChatGPT. I take, and it describes its job list or describes its attributes,
Right.
but it only does that by its programming.
Right.
I think
right.
the
By its
contrast is
design.
like humans take the situations that they have grown up in, their soul, and it all culminates into an organic realization. I am me. I am myself. Nobody
Right.
told me who I am, but I understand who I am by the way that I've grown up and the things that I do and the decisions I make, the feelings that
Right.
I feel. And
Yeah, and think of just how many different ways a human being might answer that question, right?
yeah,
From a familial heritage to a hobby or activity to a job or status, culture, background. Like there's no real right answer to like who or what are you, and yet a artificial intelligence doesn't have, at least once again yet, maybe there will come a time or threshold or technology
Yeah.
that's capable of crossing what currently exists, because that's everybody's argument, like when you kind of bring them to like we don't see anything like that yet. Well, this is as unsophisticated as it's ever going to be. So give AI 10 years and you'll see where it is. And it's like, yes, you're right to an extent, but also like don't think that full scope of your imagination is even something that AI can be capable of in and of itself, because
yeah,
that imagination scope is what people are going to continue building into it, right?
yeah,
Well, what about when an AI creates an AI? It's still bearing the image of the creator, not something from nothing, which is what we were with God. And yes, we still too bear His image in creation,
yeah.
but He created in a way that I don't think we are necessarily capable of.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, if you look at specifically scriptural, and you see those things that are alive have the breath of life.
right.
The Lord has breathed into
Yes.
us. He's breathed into the animals, and and all the creatures. And those are something that's a very huge contrast that you see between technology and you see between us, because God has breathed into us a unique personality, person. You know, we have our own decisions and feelings, and those are the things that make us us. And that cannot be programmed into a computer. It can make decisions, but it can never be its own owner, so to speak.
Yeah, I think I think John Calvin said, and this is some kind of paraphrase of his quote, but something to the extent of, all practical wisdom is gleaned through the knowledge of God and the knowledge of ourselves, right? And AI can know a lot about a lot of things, but can it really know itself? I don't think so without like, once again, being told or researched about itself. It can't just intrinsically look into itself and know, I'm happy, right? Those kinds of things. It's knowledge based, and then on top of that, it can't know God and have a personal relationship with Him, right? And Calvin would argue, and this was a big thing for a lot of the reformers during that period, like that in itself is suggestive of what, like a level of criteria for what it means to be a bearer of the image of God. And when you follow the trajectory of the doctrine of humanity, like the early church had that same distinction, a distinction between materialistic reality, knowledge, and or like that mind, that consciousness, and then the spirit, right? The trichotomy of three. That's where like AI might be capable of the cognitive, right, to an extent. It might be capable of even production of a physical material body, right? Which that's more advanced than where we're at today, but it could get there.
But it could get there, for sure. iRobot.
Vision from the
or Vision,
from the Marvel movies. But is it capable of achieving that soul, that psyche? And that's where, like,
no,
it
it's
could,
just not.
Where it's we as human beings can't even do that. Like even when you think of like procreation and having a baby, like we believe, sure, there's cognitive elements transcended from the parents. There's a biological action that obviously takes place, but even human beings don't insert that soul. That's something that we believe that God does. From many Christian circles, like at the point of conception, but even then, like that's a whole rabbit trail in itself, and that's something is a doctrine that's historically been debated.
But regardless, it's from God.
But it's from God, right? And that's where, right back to that like image bearing capability. Like AI doesn't hold that. So
it's another piece of software. It's an intelligent piece of software, but it's still just a piece of software. Now, beautiful. So we've established that it is not self-aware, and neither could it ever become a sentient, self-existent being.
Right.
So therefore, what are some, as a tool or as a software, what is this possibly presenting as far as helps and hurts for Christians and people in general? What do you think?
Yeah, so I think one thing I read that's huge is it is intended to not only like replicate human thought and like reasoning.
Sure.
It also amplifies it. It embellishes it.
Interesting.
Right?
Oh, okay, I got
when
you.
you think about that, right? And part of the idea of that amplification is like speed and efficiency, but also like almost caricatures of like human nature.
Okay,
right? Like
sure.
You have these broader, generalized versions that are not nearly as unique or individualistic as like the variation in like how you might process things versus how I might, right? Like AI is not being programmed to develop that nuance because it would be inconsistent within itself, right? It's trying to come to the same level of reasoning the same way each time, right? And so because of that, it amplifies kind of like these caricatures of like human emotion, thought, and reasoning, right? So the problem with that, when you think of its amplification of replicated human thought, is humans are carnal. Humans are sinful. Humans are wicked, and often prone to like self-preservation, subjective
selfishness.
Right, selfishness, and even subjective opinions and personalities, all these things, right?
Sure.
Positions on particular issues, morality, etc., right? And so I think like while it is an amazing tool that can absolutely be used and should be used by Christians in certain contexts under that premise of this is the world we live in, this is the push of the culture, this is the philosophical point in history that we find ourselves in with technological advancement that is going to use this. I don't think we as Christians should be fearful of it, and I think there are uses for it that are appropriate, but also we should use it with caution, knowing it has that tendency to amplify our vices, you know?
Okay.
And that's where, like, it's amazing to see the laws that are already being developed, particularly in pretty dicey areas. Like, yes, there's, you know, Supreme Court level discussions on, like, Tesla self-driving automation with AI. But more often, you're seeing stuff like our First Lady just released this massive initiative to put greater regulation on the pornographic industry. Good. Because AI can be used to develop content in that area that is, think about it this way, almost like infringing on basic human ownership of one's own, like, body, right? So, like, replication of likeness, replication of media and content using
other people.
These, right, without permission.
Yeah.
And, like, literally, it was very interesting to read. There was an article by the New York Times, either New York Times or Wall Street Journal, literally on Ivanka Trump's, is that her name?
That sounds right.
Ivanka or Melania? He had two wives. Anyways, her push, the current First Lady's push to institute greater, hopefully it's Melania, because I think that's the current First Lady. To put greater parameters, though, morally and ethically on the usage of, what's her name?
I didn't come up.
Just do like First Lady.
Melania.
Okay, cool. But yeah, like, she's pushing for, we need greater regulation on it in this area because people's likeness and images are being used in a very negative and degrading way, right? And that's where I just say, like that didn't take long at all, right? For something that I'm like, like, so many positive and amazing uses for this type of technology, and that's where, like, almost instantly we go, you know? That's the reality of the carnal amplification of our human fleshly nature. And that's where, hey, Christian, like, a great parameter you can institute is, am I using this unto the glory of God? Right? Is this something that I'm using in a way that is going to honor and glorify Him? Because with every piece of technology, right, there's always concerns. When the calculator came out, there were a bunch of people that, like, lost their jobs because their whole basic thing was keeping numbers and crunching it. And guess what? Like, this tool does it perfectly. You know? So I'm less concerned from, like, the work-based. Society's going to adapt. There's going to always need to be people filling different roles. Maybe some of these more mundane tasks that sure currently have jobs. Hey, guess what? You are God's creation. You are the epitome of it. You're probably worth more than whatever this little computer algorithm or entity is capable of doing. So let's step up and continue to adapt with changes in society. On the flip side, what is it being used for? And if it's just something that's making money, feeding the flesh, feeding a vice, then there should be appropriate caution and some sort of desire to institute parameters to keep that, in check.
No, for sure. I love what you said. I feel like any kind of tool that you use can be used either for good or for bad. The internet came out not so long ago, believe it or not, and that has been a
that
tool.
Might have been like the most dinosaur thing you've ever said.
I'm not from the 1900s. Don't worry.
Yeah.
He is.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that, look at how that's been a tool for the evil and for good.
Right.
And it's just a matter of it's the same thing. Are you going to use this toward the glory of God, or are you going to use this to satisfy yourself? Right. I think some huge pitfalls in this area. Obviously, licentiousness is a huge one. Mm-hmm. I think also laziness can be huge too. Like, I think of kids in school, like, you've got to write a paper and you forgot about it, and it's the night before and you need some help, are you going to result to, all right, let me look up on ChatGPT what, like how to write this paper and write it for me and then change a few words to make it my own, you know what I mean? That would be an opportunity for using it for the flesh.
Right.
Or are you going to use it the way that could be a tool and say, here's my topic. Can you help me find some articles on this so I can do some research?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then utilize that to write your paper in a faster, more efficient way. In Scripture, the principles are the same.
Yeah.
The Scriptures cover the things that you should do. Don't walk in licentiousness. Don't walk in sexual immorality. Don't be sluggish. But work hard. Be a hard worker. Use this as a tool, which is like anything else, to do the things that God has called you to do.
Wow.
And stay away from the things that God has told you not to.
Yeah.
Also, Caleb brought up, we were talking about this before we started the podcast, but he said there are some crazy pastors out there that are using ChatGPT to make their sermons.
Right.
Don't do that. That's
Dude, there's
stupid.
Literally an
Don't do that.
AI pastor. There's a congregation of people that look to basically a big, avatar ascribed Siri to like pastor them, right? And like you can look it up, you can listen to the things this guy says. Like it's a lot of fluff, a lot of feel good stuff. Even hey, like these algorithms and entities are really good at actually even developing the factual basis of like a sermon, right? Contextual, historical information, exploring debates. Like I'm not going to pretend like I do exclusively things that like a computer cannot, right? We even use tools like that to help develop sermons in context. But don't put a artificial intelligence or something equivalent in a role that God has called a human being, an image bearer of his, something with a soul to fill, right? And that's where, like, for a pastor, there's far more than just communicating the facts from the pulpit. There's spiritual gifting. There's an anointing from the Lord. There's, and that could be ascribed even beyond ministry, like whether that's a doctor, behind the surgical table, or whether that's a police officer making a split decision in the midst of a conflict. Like we have to acknowledge the Lord has sovereignly appointed people to certain roles to respond in particular ways, and we have to grow comfortable with that human element because God saw fit to do it as well.
Absolutely. And pastoring specifically is a spiritual gift that God gave humans. 1 Corinthians chapter 12. So those things that God has given and ordained
can't go
buy
that gift on
can't
Amazon.
do that. You can do research, and it might be able to tell you things to look up and research to do.
Right.
But you can't use it. So I have a verse in 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 6. It says, "Therefore I remind you," Paul's talking to Timothy, "to stir up the gift of God which is in you through the laying on of my hands." And so we all have gifts. We all have responsibilities that God has entrusted to us. Don't slough that off on a piece of technology. Utilize it in your pursuit of doing the will of God and fulfilling God's role that he has given to you. But don't neglect it through AI. Don't make it perverse through AI.
Right.
But instead, just use it as another tool in your belt so you can do God's work for his glory.
Right. Yeah, that kind of wraps up the last thing I was just going to ask is like, how can youth kids today use AI to the glory of God? So don't like just abide by biblical principles, right? Like don't just like you do with all other technology and tools, right? Yeah, the Bible might not specifically speak to the nuance of AI, but it does give you character principles to abide by, how you're supposed to walk, how you're supposed to use tools, being a good steward and using it for what it's worth in that regard, but then also not compromising morally and ethically the same way you wouldn't with other tools just because this one feels a little bit different, and let context guide some of that nuance. So yes, like I'm not pretending that if a Tesla truck, hits someone, like that's just this black and white thing. But I think a level of the burden of responsibility on those moral decisions falls on both the programmer who created things, and they as business have to take on that liability, and also the user who has subscribed to using it. I mean, think of when you first download your iPhone, like there's like 18 pages of stuff that we all just.
Terms
Sure,
and
I
conditions.
agree. Like you're assuming a level of liability whenever you use a new piece of technology, and it's some level of responsibility to both the creator and the user to ensure that it's being used responsibly. And so, while this feels a little different, I don't think it really is that different. And on biblical principle, we just abide by what the word says.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of go from there. So, yeah,
Word
man, you
remains
got
the
anything
same.
else?
No, that's all I got. The word remains the same.
Word remains
Just keep
the
following
same.
Christ.
Yesterday, today,
Yesterday and tomorrow.
tomorrow, forever.
Yesterday's yesterday. Tomorrow's tomorrow. Today.
Gotta love it.
Shall I call our guests?
I sent them both a text. I think they're coming.
Oh, are they? Okay.
All right, CCB Youth, that's a great way to tie up that conversation. We are now going to go ahead and start to transition into our game. We were supposed to have 2 guests, but the Hannah cannot make it, and I hear the Angie walking
My
on in
Angie!
right now. So here we go. Here's basically what we're doing. CCB Youth, I have been trying to educate myself on y'all's lingo, your terminology, all of the things that you say that I have no idea what in the goose that means. And in my research, I found a stunningly wonderful article, and said article gave me a list of fake Gen Z slang terms. So here's what we're gonna do. Oh, you want to grab that mic too, Angie? Sorry. What we're going to do is I'm going to read a Gen Z term. I am going to give a definition for said term, and these two are going to not debate, each one
I
determine
feel like you're gonna know more stuff than I am.
if they think it's a real Gen Z term or a fake Gen Z term. I'm calling this. I have nothing clever. I don't know.
I thought you were gonna use a Gen Z term to describe.
Yeah,
Real
exactly.
or cat?
Oh no. Brain rot.
Yeah, that's what it should be called.
Brain-
Brain Rot Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Real or cap? Oh my. All
I'm
right.
sure there's a word
Cap
for
or
real.
quap?
Wait, no, that's the same thing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure is there a term for real? Like something being real? Is
yeah,
it
I don't
just
know.
a cat?
For
We'll find
real.
out. Maybe we'll know by
For
the end
real.
of. Maybe we'll know before the end of the game. So, all right, here we go. I think we're all tracking on how this is going to work. Let me give you an example just to kick it off. Here, I'll just go with one that's pretty easy because I got 2 lists here. Okay, here. So, like the term glow up.
That's real.
That's the term. Here's the definition. This means a makeover or transformation from bad to good, right? Real Gen Z term or real, I mean, these all say Gen Z, but I think glow up, I thought that was around with us, Angie, yeah, back a little bit further back in the day, maybe. Either way, so, yeah, don't.
I just heard that the other day.
Oh, for the first time? Oh,
For the
my.
first time.
Well, there you go. So, yeah, that would be an example of a real one.
Also, I told everyone the internet's it hasn't been out that long.
Yeah,
So.
exactly.
What?
Just told them.
The internet hasn't been out that long.
No.
At least to me, it hasn't. Guess I'm just an old man.
But an alternative example, the term dairy, meaning basic or plain,
Oh,
used to describe
so
something
not
basic
like
or
like
plain.
my ice cream? What are you talking about?
Not like cow byproducts.
Buy cow products. Byproduct cows.
Organic, dude. Yes, that would be a fake one, right?
Oh, man. I can't use my
so-
Bible for this.
Yeah, exactly. Crack that bad boy open.
Oh,
so.
no.
All right, here we go. Angie, let's start with you. Okay. The term is stan.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a combination of stalker and fan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know.
Am I supposed to say if that's real?
Do you
or
think it's
false?
real
Oh,
or
that's
fake?
definitely real.
Real?
Yeah, I've heard it before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it is. I had never heard of that one. That's
never
pretty
heard that
crazy,
either.
right? A stan, the
When
stalker
you
fan.
when you have been a fan of K-pop, you hear about it
Oh
often.
no! Oh my goodness! All right, JP, you're in trouble,
I'm
bro.
in trouble. I have no idea.
Maybe Angie should ask us these.
I
You
want
want
to
to
do
do that?
Yeah.
All right.
Do you know a lot of these words, Angie?
No, I got a
I
list
don't
right
know.
here. Let me come around.
Wait, but haven't you read them already?
I haven't. I just
Oh,
copied and pasted them, bro.
Oh,
okay.
Those are like the only ones I've looked at.
Okay.
Okay, so here's how I'll give it to you. On here, these are all the fake ones, okay? And then,
Oh,
These
this
are
is
the
the
real
list of the.
ones.
Okay, so you just pulled it up.
yep, and I'm just randomly moving through, try to read it. Feel
Okay.
free to add, subtract.
Are you do you want me to use all of the ones you made up at least?
No, you don't have to. We'll probably play like first to 3 or something. We've already been going for a little
Okay.
while, so yeah. Let's go
Okay.
for it, bro. Here
Oh
we go.
my
Okay.
goodness. Oh,
Because I
this
don't
is-
know any of
This
these
is gonna
either,
be
bro.
painful.
All right, Ethan's up.
Okay.
Here we go.
Ethan.
Oh boy.
Okay. I can't wait. Okay. I'm sorry. I just want to like see.
No, you're
any of
good.
these. Oh, I see.
I'm gonna make everyone very upset with me.
You could also do it. You could read one of each and
Yeah.
make us determine which one's
Which one?
real if you wanted to.
I feel like that's easier though.
Okay, so just
That's a little
is it
too
real or
easy.
fake? You get
Yeah.
it. Okay, cool.
Don't look at. Don't
Not
look at
looking.
the computer. Okay.
Not looking.
E-boy or e-girl? Is it real or not? It is.
So that's the term.
Similar. That's a term.
E-boy or
E-boy
e-girl.
or e-girl,
Okay.
and it is a term.
Like the letter E.
E.
Okay.
E. And it's similar to emo or goth culture, but they use the internet to express themselves.
That sounds real. I feel like that sounds real.
Your
You're gonna
question,
go with
bro. You
real?
log it
Yeah,
in.
go ahead.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
Oh man. Okay.
Okay,
Like short for
Caleb.
emo.
Like
E-boy,
E.
e-girl. I've
Or also
never
like-
heard that.
It sounds
Uses
more
the
like it would be
internet.
like E for internet, but even
Yeah.
though internet isn't with an E, it's with an I.
Nice.
But somehow,
Internet.
Like, internet.
I hit the enter button.
Okay.
All right, what do you got, Angie?
Dank. If
That's a
something-
real word.
If something is dank, it's excellent or of very high quality.
Oh.
Excellent or of high quality.
I thought
that
you-
is
It sounds
not
like
the
it's
understanding
really-
of dank. I've heard like moist, like
Yeah,
like a,
dank means like
a dank
moist
thirst
or-
trap.
That's what
What's a
I am
thirst
reading
trap?
on here. Whether it's real or fake, what is written on here is what I read to you.
Read it again. Read it again.
If something is dank, it's excellent or very high quality.
Excellent or very high.
High quality.
Like that is one dank minivan.
Meatball.
There is no dank minivan.
Yes, there are. Minivans are
crazy.
cool.
If you'd have said like moist or like wet, is it like that's?
But that's
one
a real
dank
word.
But that's
tissue.
a weird. Yeah, that's real.
Yeah. Oh, so the slang.
This is a
term.
slang.
I'm gonna go with yes. I'm gonna say it's real.
Yeah, it's real.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
disgusting. But
That's so weird. That's like the.
Oh man,
there's
so many
some
people
on
laughing
here
at us
that are
right
not Gen Z that I know you guys would know. So I'm trying
Yeah.
to skip through
Yeah,
these.
yeah. No,
Okay.
for sure, for sure.
Cause, like,
now. I feel like we're in the same league with this one, bro.
This is crazy, bro.
Man.
Dang, CCBU. Dank means it's like high quality. That's one dank guitar over there, bro.
I got a dank friend over here. Look at him. He's in both senses of the term.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a little sweaty,
He's a
and
little
I'm
sweaty.
trying to be a good friend.
He's a good friend.
Mhm. He's a good friend. This cup of coffee would
oh,
also. but-
here's one.
Okay.
Costco.
This is Ethan.
Ethan, Costco meaning built differently or has everything.
What? That's awesome.
That's Costco.
Holy-
What?
Or has everything.
It has every.
That needs to be a word if it's not.
I mean, that
That's
literally describes Costco.
Right.
That
That's
is the literal definition of
Different
Costco.
has everything.
I'm gonna have to say that's real. I feel like it needs to be if it's not.
It is fake.
Oh man,
It just
dang.
made
Easy
up
to use.
by
I'm
the
gonna use
internet.
that all the time.
That's Costco right there.
That's Costco right there, bro. Dude, the Bible. The Bible.
Spelled
This is one
differently.
Costco book right here, bro.
Man, I got a Costco fiance. She's everything I could ever want. That
She
sounds
sure
so
is spelled
bad.
differently.
She felt different.
I feel like I could get so much trouble with that.
That's
I
crazy.
shouldn't have said that.
Okay, Caleb.
Yeah.
Nabs.
Nabs.
Nabs, meaning not anybody's somebody.
Not anybody's.
Not anybody's somebody. Nabs.
Oh, it's like an acronym.
Well, I don't know.
Nabs.
It's a bad acronym.
Not
Nabs.
anybody's.
Anybody's somebody.
Somebody.
Interesting.
Wait. Okay. So like in context, like if you're
If it's
single,
like-
Probably like a
right?
single
I'm
Nabs.
assuming
I'm
it's yeah.
nabs.
I'm assuming it's related to humans.
Yeah.
Not anybody's.
My cat's Nabs.
Right. Yeah, like almost like that's how you'd
Anybody's-
identify.
or maybe like a lonely
maybe-
person.
or maybe on like a dating profile. Like, yeah, I'm Nabs.
Shouldn't everybody be Nabs on a dating profile?
Not anybody's
That's crazy. Yeah, you
Unless
should
you're-
go without saying if you're on a dating profile.
Unless you're
Fair
into
point,
like that
fair point.
multiple wives thing.
Yes, exactly. Mormons.com. That's crazy. Oh, wow.
Oh, have fun with this one.
I feel like if it was real, I would have heard it before, but I know that that's not true.
Oh man,
Not anybody's somebody.
Yeah.
we should have a timer.
I'm gonna call cap on that. I'm gonna say that's not real.
Not anybody's somebody. Yeah, you're right.
It's not.
Oh,
I just feel
Not
like.
real. It actually
Oh.
sounds like it would be though. Nabs.
Oh
like
no,
the
it
word.
for sure does. I feel like it
Man.
almost makes too much sense for me to think it's actually.
It's like-
oh, it has
genuine.
to be illogical.
Yeah.
Costco was pretty.
Costco's
Man,
legit.
I love that.
I
though.
think I'd have gotten stumped on that one too.
So wait, you
Okay.
got one more point than me, huh?
I think I have one. Yeah.
So
one.
you have two and I have one.
Right.
Okay.
Right. 2-1. Okay. We're playing a 3. All right.
I don't know.
Oh man.
Let's play it. We'll see. We'll see if we get through a couple more. 'Cause it's already 3:07.
Abs.
Ready?
Yep.
Is guap real or fake?
Guap.
Money.
Like I pay extra for guap.
Well, that
Or
got
guapa. You're guapa.
Guadalupe.
Guap as money.
Yeah, and lots of it. Lots of dinero.
Guap.
Dude,
Oh.
what
Is
this?
that real or fake?
How did you know it means a lot of money?
Your
No, I didn't.
battery.
She said that.
Your battery. Yeah, I said it first.
Oh,
your battery's
down low.
dying.
You
My
gotta-
computer's better.
Yeah.
I don't have a cable long enough to reach.
Okay.
We'll try to muscle through.
We'll
Each
do
have
it till
a
it.
few minutes.
Okay, I dimmed it all the way.
Nice,
So.
yeah.
Guap, guap, guap. I've never heard that before, but it sounds realistic.
Like GUAP.
Yep. Yep.
Guap.
Guap. Unless it's pronounced,
I'm gonna say
Guap.
I'm gonna say that's fake.
but it is very real.
You've heard that before? Guap.
I've never
Oh.
heard it before, but it's on the real
Dude,
list.
that's what I'm talking about. That don't even.
Are
make
you
sense.
kidding me?
Guap.
Guap.
Got that guapo. Like I don't
Oh,
even a real
man.
word. All right. Wow.
Man.
All right. Hit me, Angie.
I'm gonna spell it out for you,
Okay.
and you tell me how you think you pronounce it.
Okay.
SMOL.
Small.
Small. Definition. Something that is small. And in most cases, exceptionally adorable. So I don't know why not just say small if you're literally saying small.
It's like a British.
If enough
small.
people spelled it wrong, they made it a word. Small. Hey,
The dumbest thing ever.
your dog?
He's small.
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 Oh my gosh.
I wish it was
People
like
be
a
looking at
small.
my wife going, "Your husband? He's small."
Well, it's also in most cases exceptionally adorable.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
That would mean most people find you exceptionally
There's
adorable.
no way that's real.
Your cat
SMOL?
Yeah.
I wish it was like a
That's
small.
like you mistyped it in your text thread.
Yeah.
I'm saying nah, that's not real.
It's real.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
I've actually seen it. A lot of people like in the anime world and stuff like that are like small. It's a small.
That's because they're Japanese. They don't know how to spell in English.
I thought we didn't have Russ Merrick on here.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy, bro. Small.
Oh my
The
goodness.
smallest bean.
Smallest bean.
Smallest bean.
Okay. You ready?
That's crazy, bro. What
Yep.
in the world?
Let her rip.
Bussin'.
Yeah, I know that's real.
You know it's real.
I know that's real.
What does it mean?
I don't know. I think it means like exceptionally good or awesome.
Yeah.
This says a quirky word to use when you taste something delicious.
Delicious.
Oh, sure. Yes. Okay.
Bussin'.
That taco.
Sounds
that
good.
guap was bussin'.
No, that means a lot of money was good. Tasty.
Okay.
You eating money?
Yeah.
Oozing.
Cheapy's got it.
Caleb. Is oozing real? Meaning doing too much. I'm oozing. Ew. That's so disgusting.
Oozing all over my workplace. That's gross.
I'm uncomfortable right now. You guys stop oozing around me.
Oh.
You guys are danking oozing.
I'm gonna say.
That's like when you're sick and your boogers
Yeah,
are all
exactly.
going out. You're like,
I
oh,
was oozing all over my
Man,
couch.
we're like the old
Sick.
people from the Muppets. You remember like they had the balcony thing like
Yeah.
I'm gonna
you're so
say-
dumb. And they would make fun.
Yeah.
Like the old timers.
I'm gonna say maybe it's just sheer hope that it's not real. I'm gonna say no, that is not
It's
real.
not real, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's
good.
3.
Oozing.
Right?
That is 3. Let's do one more
Oh,
round. Let's do one more
man.
round.
Oh man.
These are gonna be easy though, cause I think I hit all the ones that I think you guys will
Yeah.
know they were real,
Yeah.
or the ones I thought maybe you guys didn't know if they were real. All the other ones I think you guys
We'll
would
do
know.
it just to do a safe win by 2, because even if we get a point here, then I'll still win.
Oh,
but
man. Okay. Sheesh.
Oh, I've heard that.
Sheesh is used to hype someone up if they're looking good or doing something good.
yeah. That's real.
Sheesh.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
real.
Brother.
That's legit. Okay, what else you got?
So, something else. Here we go. This is hard. I think a lot of this list was like Gen Z and almost like millennials too, because there's like drip and sipping tea. Remy.
Remy?
It shouldn't go together, but it does.
What doesn't go together?
I don't know. It's
You
on this
Something that
list.
shouldn't go together
But
but
it
does
does.
is Remy?
Yeah, like hot dogs and mac and cheese. I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't like that, but
Is Remy.
most people eat that, right? Most Americans eat that. You guys are
Like,
American.
you talking about like the mouse, the little chef from
It's
Remy.
spelled just like
Remy.
It's just spelled like him.
Remy.
I guess mouses don't go in the kitchen, but it does
But
in
it does.
tea.
He's a Remy.
No, Remy's the brother, right?
No.
Oh no, Remy's the.
Remy's the
character.
main mouse.
Who's the fat mouse?
The fat mouse.
Fat mouse. That's his name.
What's his name? Enter.
Gus from Cinderella.
He makes an
Looking
appearance.
like
in
Gus,
that. Gus, 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 Gus.
Linguini is the boy.
He's like, what the heck is this mouse doing here?
You don't even
Um,
speak.
You can speak mouse.
Remy, 2 things that don't
Oh,
go
what is,
together, but that do. That's crazy.
A meal? A meal.
Oh yeah, uh-huh.
A meal is the big
Wow.
mouse.
Like what?
A meal is the
Emil
big mouse.
The big mouse. That's good.
What on
bro.
earth?
Good
How did you get
recollect.
that from?
Good
I love that
Mind
movie.
Palace.
It's a good movie.
All right, I'm
My
going with
mind
real.
palace.
Remy's real.
I feel like it's probably like in a term. It would be used in a term of like maybe like a couple. Like they don't look like they go together, but they
Yeah,
do at the same
yeah.
time. But this is actually fake.
Oh, dang. All right, that's a draw. We just finished in the same spot because you got a point that round and I did not. I was
Oh,
only one
okay.
up from you.
Okay.
So we'll
That's all right.
we'll
So you
call
guys-
it there. We'll leave it at a draw.
You
just
guys are
because
about in the same
computers.
spot.
Yeah. Dude,
Sure.
Gen Z,
That's
y'all
wild.
learn.
We're
Just speak
sipping
it
tea.
English. Why you gotta be so weird? Just speak it English. My goodness.
Small.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Small.
Small.
Bro, learn how to spell. My goodness gracious.
Dang,
I wish it was like a
what?
really small, really strong
Why is
thing.
so much of this
Like,
too
you're
drawn from
swollen
like anime
small.
and
Small.
Korean culture up in here? I feel like Angie noted that multiple like K-pop and
Yeah.
all that juju
I feel like because that's like really prevalent in like this generation's like
ethos.
media and like
Yeah.
well yeah like their media
Who they
and what
are.
they consume and who they are. So like they've just adapted a lot of that.
That's crazy.
Wow.
All right, hey, let us know if you like this game in the comments or something, so we know if we should play it again. We might play it in person at the youth group, but we
I
had a
think
lot
it
of fun.
would be really cool to play it with like older folks.
Yeah, well,
I know
exactly.
we're old for you guys,
right,
but I mean like
do
even
more of the ones
older
that are a little more
folks.
well known. Yeah. All right, TCB, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the episode. We should be back next week and with a new topic for discussion. But I think with that, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Toodles. Where am I?